has made changes, how it has forced us to adapt in this new age and time. So speaking to us currently would be His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Keith Rowley. He'll be speaking to us on clean water and sanitation, SDG 6 for 8 minutes. Dr. Rowley, you have the floor, sir. Dr. Rowley, please unmute your mic. Okay, whilst Dr. Keith Rowley is trying to work out his technical difficulties that he's having, let me introduce the WULMI Department of Northeastern Affairs Director, Professor Dr. Ada Juni Okika, as she comes to address us. Professor Okika?
Good morning, ambassadors. Good morning, our visionary, His Excellency Right Honorable Dr. Philippine, who is here with us. Today is the side event of the 2023 High-Level Political Forum of the Department of Northeastern Affairs. We should recall that the High-Level Political Forum is a program of the Office of the UN General Assembly, adopted in order to monitor and to follow up with the reviews by nations, intergovernmental organizations, civil society, and observer missions on SDGs across the country. This has going on for years that various SDGs are being reviewed and presented each year. This year, the focus, even though the focus has to do with the specified theme that looking at the theme of this year's SDG that has to do with recovery implication for the recovery of COVID-19 and digital information. We have the various SDGs that have been discussed across the country, starting from Monday the 10th of July, and still continue until the 20th of July. This year, the SDGs that are under review are called the Voluntary National Reviews by member states across the world. And the essence is to keep an update with data, subsettings, and implementation track of SDGs in member states. Now, this year we have the pleasure to be reviewing the SDG 6, the SDG 9, the SDG 11, the SDG 7, and the SDG 17. So with all these reviews, the Department of Northeastern Affairs, the WULMI ICC, have the privilege to join in having the ambassadors. We have what we call the Voluntary Ambassadors SDG Review. We have done this for 3 years. This is the third time we joined the Global Forum on High-Level Political Forum to do this. And it has been very interesting that ambassadors have been able to take the task to review these various SDGs in line with the mission of WULMI ICC and the global work of the WULMI ICC across the world. So without wasting more time, we have to call on the ambassadors to begin to make their presentation. And I urge everyone to take note of the significant factors, especially their reviews in relation to the work of WULMI ICC across the ambassadors who are, peace ambassadors who are found or located across the world. So we are presenting, just as the member states are on doing their own presentation, we are reviewing this work in line with the mission of ICC and in reference to the Act 915. I thank everyone for coming, and I take over to the chair.
Mr. Chair, a distinguished ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, to the Right Honorable Dr. Philip S. Finn, Commander of the Most Distinguished Order of Extraordinary Ambassadors and President of the General of the WOMI, we are so honored that I have been selected today to present on the United Nations Sustainable Developmental Goal number 6, water and sanitation. This review will address the SDG 6, water and sanitation. We will look at approaches, highlight the underlying and overall concept of this SDG as the United Nations and WOMI commitment, resources, and services from 3 perspectives. I want to start off by saying that water rights are human rights. Every citizen on planet Earth should enjoy this precious commodity. A preamble, according to the Constitution of the Bible, for I was hungry and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you invited me in. I needed clothes and you clothed me. I was sick and you looked after me. I was in prison and you came to visit me. The king will reply, I tell you the truth, whatever you did for me, or the least of these brothers of mine, you did it for me, found in Matthew 25, 35 through 40, the NIV version. The theme of this 23 high-level political forum is to leave no one behind. Whereas the United Nations is the highest international body, whereas His Excellency, the Right Honorable Dr. Philip S. Finn, has designated His Excellency Dr. Keith Roll, CGPA, a member of the ICG Northeastern Affairs Cabinet, to write and to submit this review for SDG number 6, water sanitation. SDG 6, water and sanitation, is in peril. Contaminated and wastewater, overuse of chemicals in farming and industrial process, and waste water management have led to severe contamination of the inland waterways and the ocean. Globally, 2 billion people, or 26% of the population, do not have clean drinking water. 3.6 billion people, or 46%, lack access to clean, safe sanitation. 4 billion people, or 2/3 of the world population, experience severe water scarcity, and 5 billion people, 2/3 of the world population, will face water shortage and crisis by 2050. These statistics were published by the UNESCO on behalf of the United Nations Water Development Report in 2023 at the water conference that was held March 21st to 23rd, 2023. I had the privilege of being a panelist at a side event and speak on water technology and some innovative ways in which we can come up with solutions to this problem. This In Peace ambassador has hands-on practice experience in working with this SDG number 6, clean water. And I will discuss some of the things that was done to resolve this water crisis. Even though the WOMI is not a church, it is a parachurch, and it is highly committed for the dedication to serve citizens, communities, cities, and countries when it comes to water rights and sanitation. And so the practice is hands, heart, and head knowledge. Find a need and fill it. Find a hurt and heal it. Find a problem and solve it. Find a question and answer it. Ambassador Keith Roll went to Ghana in 2007 to a rural area. They drank water, they cooked, and also the animals drank from the Dakar River, a dirty water. And a water well was drilled for about 1,500 people in a pleasant community, mostly farming. The rainy season is from May to September. They have no irrigation. a water well was dug, and after 16 years, it is still mechanical well is operational. The solution and outcome to this was that it provides clean drinking water for cooking, washing, and bathing. The community council and people, they pay monthly maintenance fees. The community has had safe, clean drinking water for 16 years. It puts smiles on the faces to community and grateful for the gift of life. The prognosis is innovative, sustainable solutions, water governance, biotechnology, environmental impact, alternative fuels, green chemistry, infrastructure. And I would like to introduce that we introduced at the water conference in March an atmospheric water generator system. This was presented by Mr. Moses West. He's the engineer and manufacturer. And Walmart's recommendation, solutions and outcome for this water and sanitation crisis is to look at this AWG technology as we move forward. The product is an 800 unit. It produces 211 gallons, 800 liters of clean drinking water a day. It provides clean drinking water for homes, communities, rural farming areas, municipalities, government businesses, and organizations. It mitigates the water crisis. It provides innovative, sustainable solutions and resources of food and energy. Some of the clients of the AWG that Mr. West has produced has been the community in Flint, Michigan, when they had that contaminated water crisis. The US government, Army and Marines, they have also purchased several of these units where they have now clean drinking water on bases and when the Army and the Marines deploy. Also, when we had the disaster relief, the hurricane, it was used for disaster release in the hurricane in Puerto Rico, and the communities were able to get clean drinking water. What are the outcomes? Innovative, sustainable, affordable, limited maintenance technology. It meets and it exceeds the World Health Organization, WHO, and the Environmental Protection Agency standards. It empowers community to strive economically, socially, and environmentally into the 21st century. You may view and learn more about this system at their website, and it's found in this review, or contact Mr. Moses West and the AWG Contracting. Here's the call to action as I come to a close. Give the gift of life, clean drinking water, to impoverished people, farmers, and livestock in rural areas, villages, and at-risk communities and developing nations. Water is a precious commodity. Water is a deal maker. Water is a game changer. The 2023 High Level Political Forum is the crossroad and bridge to the year 2030 for the implementation and realization of the UN's 17 Sustainable Development Goals. This vision and mission requires the following: partnerships such as Walmart, people participation, international community involvement, and mechanisms and commitment, stewardship, and action by all to combat the water sanitation and global problem and crisis with our water and sanitation. Water rights are human rights. We must all take responsibility to protect, preserve, take preventive measures to be proactive in safeguarding our water, this precious and life-sustaining resource and commodity. The African proverbs heralds and resonates true. It takes a village to the is the team that makes the water dream a reality. Conclusion: we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. And this is a quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson. The Right Honorable Dr. Finn and Mr. Chair, thank you for this opportunity to present on SDG number 6.
Thank you very much, Dr. Roll. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Next, we will have speaking to us on SDG number 7, to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. Coming to speak to us now is Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Eunice Jernigan.
Excellency, Ambassador Eunice is not on sick.
Okay, thank you very much for that, for letting me know. Speaking to us now on SDG 9, building resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. Coming to speak to us now is Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Maureen Brown Phillips. Dr. Maureen Brown Phillips, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Sustainable Development Goal number 9 seeks to build resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. There are 8 targets and 12 indicators that need to be met to achieve SDG 9. The United Nations views industrial development as the primary means of income generation and the means through which everyone can enjoy a better standard of living. Infrastructure provides facilities for industry and society, while innovation expands technology capacity and leads to the development of new skills. The industrialization envisioned by SDG 9 is inclusive and sustainable, and is different from the polluting industrial manufacturing and production we are familiar with. Societies are now experiencing fast and transformative change because of the technological advances, from artificial intelligence to robotics, new energy sources, and storage. Infrastructure and technologies that simultaneously reduce time spent on menial work, curb carbon emissions, and create jobs are key to accomplish SDG 9. These include water pumps, mini grids, electricity, and clean cook stoves. However, financing for this SDG, especially in infrastructure, is a major challenge for Southeast Asia and other places. There is a need to explore innovative financing approaches and models which can empower women economically through supporting women entrepreneurs and business owners. Investment in rural roads helps facilitate women's movement, freedom of movement, and tends to also have positive effects on private sector productivity, poverty reduction, school enrollment, access to health services, and economic growth. The COVID-19 pandemic profoundly impacted the economies and societies globally. It has demonstrated the importance of industrialization, technological innovation, and resilient infrastructure in building back better and achieving the SDGs. Economies with a diversified industrial sector and strong infrastructure, for example, transport, internet connectivity, and utility services, sustained less damage and are experiencing faster recovery. To meet future challenges, our industries and infrastructure must be upgraded. The current industrial trend toward automation and new technology is known as the fourth industrial revolution. This is gaining a lot of attention, particularly on its potential impact on humanity. With the use of artificial intelligence, it is argued that 4IR will change how human beings live, work, and how the economies work, as well as how we are governed. The COVID-19 pandemic accelerated the digitalization of many businesses and services, including teleworking and video conferencing systems in and out of the workplace, as well as access to healthcare, education, and essential goods and services. As the pandemic reshapes our way of life, it has never been more important to bridge the digital divide for the 3.6 billion people who remain offline, unable to access online education, employment, or critical health and sanitation advice. Achieving the SDGs requires a multi-sectoral approach that integrates efforts across public, private, nonprofit, academia, and community-based action at the international, national, subnational, and community levels. How can the recovery from COVID-19 be accelerated to facilitate the full implementation of the 2030 agenda at all levels with the leave no one behind principle? One, through meaningful participation by local communities, women, and other vulnerable groups. Number two, through the rapid adoption of AI applications within the infrastructure, construction, and agricultural sectors. Number three, by increasing the availability and affordability of broadband internet across the region and implementing paperless trade. What role can Woolmy ICC play? Being guided by and operating in accordance with the mandate and principles of fulfilling the Acts 915 assignment, Woolmy ICC has made the 5 Ps, peace, people, planet, prosperity, and partnership, the primary focus of its ambassadors. These five Ps are tied into SDG 9. The mission is to train, develop, empower, equip, and certify believers across the globe to become marketplace ministers of the gospel and change agents. Modeled after the global structure of the United Nations, Woolmy ICC is structured and well-positioned to create programs which are problem-focused and solution-driven. Woolmy ICC's contribution could be to adopt a comprehensive and meaningful approach, which could include collaboration and partnership with multiple stakeholders to hold local engagement. Psycho University can leverage their global access and accreditations to form partnerships to create varied curricula and offer certificate courses locally and globally on how to increase access to information and communications technology, and also support technology development, research, and innovation in developing countries. Peace ambassadors can be included as valuable partners in implementing the goals and help raise awareness. They can create a hotspot map, which will bring awareness to public spaces with free Wi-Fi access. Number two, organize or participate in a think tank contest in which they invite companies to startups to mentor the winners. Lastly, they can use their voice to advocate the populations least likely to have access to technology. Nehemiah in the Bible was a man of great influence who occupied a position of trust and responsibility in the Persian Empire. He was tasked with rebuilding the wall of Jerusalem and faced many challenges, but he turned every problem into an opportunity to honor God. Nehemiah was a master strategist, full of wisdom and a great communicator, and also a man of prayer. Woolmy Peace Ambassadors are on divine assignment and can be exemplary role models as well in their different spheres of influence. In conclusion, the 17 SDGs of the 2030 Agenda are an important roadmap for social transformation. To accelerate the recovery and facilitate the full implementation of this agenda at all levels will require a whole of society, whole of government, and whole of the world approach driven by compassion and solidarity. This must be accomplished through collaboration and shared partnership and leave no one behind. I thank you and I yield.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Brown, for showing us the importance of how education plays a vital and pivotal role in this time. You know, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development provides us with a comprehensive blueprint for addressing the most pressing challenges facing humanity. It calls for integrated action across the social, economic, and environmental dimensions of sustainable development. As we recover from the pandemic, we must ensure that no one is left behind. We must strive to create a future where every individual has access to quality healthcare, education, clean water, and sanitation. So, coming to speak to us now on SDG 9, which deals with building resilient infrastructure, promotes sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. Speaking to us, supposed to be Ambassador Dr. Raphael Works, who is not with us, but Her Excellency Professor Ada Junior Kika will be speaking on his behalf. Professor Okika, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for this opportunity to present the review on SDG 9 as presented, as reviewed by His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Raphael Works. The Department of Northeastern Affairs stands to present a review on SDG 9 to discuss transformative ways to help national, countries, member states across the world to create, establish, and sustain industry innovation and infrastructure through the 2030 development benchmark. Insofar as all in the form of synergies and interest of considering the three dimensions of industry, innovation, and infrastructure. A clear understanding of interlinkages will, in turn, allow member states, countries across the world to manage them, notably through optimum cooperation and coordination between sectors and institutions. Under these sections, Worldwide ICC could provide a brief overview and analysis of potential developmental parities. Industry. As we know, there are many countries that need accelerated reinvestment dollars by restructuring enhanced technological, artificial intelligence, computer system integrations, Wi-Fi network, etc., services to create an avenue of approach that will build and develop an economy that can withstand the 21st century and beyond for all global constituents across the countries. Goal 9 seeks to build resilient infrastructure, promote sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation. Economies with a diversified industrial sector and strong infrastructure sustained less damage and are experiencing faster recovery. Those that don't will have to create or establish sustainable platforms by manufacturing sturdier materials within these sectors to remain a force for every community at large. Maintaining a collective effort in raw material for harvesting, helping to eliminate foodborne diseases, building technologically advanced hospitals that have top-notch equipment could help eradicate illnesses such as malaria, yellow fever, etc., particularly in the 36 states of Nigeria, as an example where these issues are most prevalent. Innovation. Higher technology industries performed under and recovered faster, providing a strong example of how important technological innovation is by creating better filtered water supplies, healthier food products through harvesting, re-educating politicians, community leaders, and constituents alike, as well as building enhanced towers for online learning and decreasing the educational divide. By 2030, all underperforming countries such as Haiti, East India, and Nigeria will have produced significant medical outcomes to offset various diseases, malnutrition, and rickets by saving more than 52% more lives than they had previously based on statistical projections. The anomalies that currently exist will have been predominantly eradicated and moved to a standard that closely resembles the industry standard of sustainability. Furthermore, various countries will adopt increased access to small-scale industrial and other enterprises in developing countries, such as financial services, including affordable credit and their integrated growth in value chain and markets. The goals of each country, particularly more so in Africa and Nigeria in particular, is to provide innovative employment strategies that will enhance market growth with trained talent through innovative approaches that value the worker within sustainable wages. Therefore, the country GDP, gross domestic product, will rise exponentially above the current of $0.82 billion of where it stands now. The infrastructure. By 2030, upgraded infrastructure and refreshed industry will make sustainable advances with increased resource use efficiency and greater adaptation of clean and environmentally sound technologies and industrial processes, with all countries acting in accordance with their respective capabilities. Mr. Chair, as I conclude, multiple countries will upgrade infrastructure by 40% based on their production through advanced ethical models and facilitated resiliency by the country leadership following a strict policy of ensuring guidelines don't interfere with political aspirations. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Juni, for presenting on behalf of Dr. Works. So, accelerating across the recovery from the COVID-19 crisis requires a collaborative effort from all stakeholders, governments, international organizations, civil society, private sector, and individuals must work hand in hand to mobilize resources, share knowledge, and implement effective policies. This high-level political forum serves as a platform to foster dialogue, share best practices, and strengthen partnerships for sustainable development. So now we will hear from Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Angela Gracie, speaking to us on SDG 11 as well, make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, and resilient, and sustainable. Her Excellency Ambassador Gracie, you have the floor.
Greetings. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you also to the visionary of WAMI ICC, Dr. Ada, and all of the members of the board for the work that you are doing and for giving me the opportunity and the privilege to address this SDG review today. WAMI ICC has appointed a delegation of peace ambassadors to the United Nations to carry out the mandate to bear the name of Christ before Jews, Gentiles, and kings, according to Acts 9:15. We are chosen vessels of peace, not just to keep peace, but to make peace, to be ministers of reconciliation and innovative problem solvers. Peace ambassadors carry out this mandate in two ways. As a consultancy, members of the International Consultancy Cabinet, we present strategies that address critical issues such as health, education, clean water, equality, and discrimination. And through humanitarian efforts, relieve the pain and struggle of life in the face of natural disasters, military conflicts, and most recently, the COVID-19 global pandemic. This two-pronged approach is a biblical, holistic way to bring to bear the influence of the kingdom at the highest levels of government. We identify and seek to relieve their pain or solve a problem. Doing that opens doors to communication and relationship. And so we begin by presenting solutions that are effective and sustainable. Today, we are reviewing SDG 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities. This is Goal 11, and it is about making cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Today, more than half the world's population lives in cities. By 2050, an estimated 7 out of 10 people will likely live in urban areas. Cities are drivers of economic growth and contribute more than 80% of global GDP. However, they also account for more than 70% of the global greenhouse gas emissions. If well-planned and managed, urban development can be sustainable and can generate inclusive prosperity. The deep inequalities exposed by the COVID-19 pandemic and other cascading crises highlight the importance of sustainable urban development. Strengthening the preparedness and resilience of cities is crucial in responding to future crises. Why is this issue important? Because half of humanity, 3.5 billion people, live in cities today, and this number will continue to grow. Because the future will be urban for the majority of people, the solutions to some of the greatest issues facing humans, such as poverty, climate change, healthcare, education, must be found in city life. For example, research reveals that there are housing developers who have, in an attempt to provide affordable housing, have built communities where it's difficult to purchase or where no one wants to live because they did not consider the need for hospitals, transportation, healthcare, schools, banks, and other essential needs for a thriving, sustainable community. There was also no consideration for waste management and pollution control. Some facts that we need to know about SDG 11. In 2019, ambient air pollution from traffic, industry, power generation, waste burning, and residential fuel combustion resulted in 4.2 million deaths. Between 2015 and 2030, annual passenger traffic globally is projected to increase by 50%, and the number of cars on the road is likely to double. However, over 6,000 cities and 117 countries are now monitoring air quality, which is double the number since 2015. Between 2015 and 2021, the number of countries reporting the existence of local disaster risk reduction strategies nearly doubled from 51 to 98. The average share of local governments that have adopted such strategies increased from 51% in 2015 to 66% in 2021. While we have made some progress, there is still work to be done. It is recommended that Walmart ICC, with its core of peace ambassadors, can absolutely partner to build sustainable cities and communities in the following ways. There can be a convention of an ambassadorial task force to gather and analyze current and accurate data of specific urban areas, and then present a strategic plan to Walmart ICC. Each year, there will be a different area of focus depending on the need and the cultural, political, and economic climate, reporting outcomes and findings to the UN ECOSOC. Therefore, through its affiliation with Psychic University, Walmart ICC can also establish small business development initiatives and economic development partnerships as a sustainable solution to ensure no economic disparities, especially among women and the disabled. We can also deploy ambassadorial teams on special projects and initiatives to conduct research and development for investment of resources and services that would improve access to transportation, green spaces, healthcare. Research and development for sustainable infrastructure and technology is important in establishing sustainable communities and cities. As we can also deploy chaplains and ministerial teams in ministry in the marketplace to address the emotional and spiritual trauma in our communities in a post-COVID environment. We must do these in consideration of some challenges that we may face, such as redistricting, gentrification, zoning, discrimination, and the housing crisis. These are things that threaten the progress of our moving forward, but they can certainly be overcome. In Nehemiah chapter 3, we see a blueprint for rebuilding. Nehemiah offers us a biblical blueprint for building. In chapter 3, Nehemiah assigns each family to take their place on the wall to rebuild or repair. I am asking, or it is recommended that we do the same. We have 38 departments on Walmart. Sometimes what can happen is we begin to operate in silos, each department operating independent of the other. It is recommended that a task force be convened with representatives of each department to work on the wall of sustainable development goals. Taking this commitment seriously, we can intentionally and purposefully work to collaborate with all departments of Walmart ICC, government, business, and academic leaders to bring about global change and fulfill the mandate to leave no one behind. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Gracie. Yes, indeed, we do not want to leave anyone behind. And in that vein, we must prioritize investments in green and sustainable infrastructure that promotes clean energy, efficient transportation, and resilient cities. By transforming to a low carbon economy, we can not only mitigate the impacts of climate change, but also create new jobs and drive inclusive growth. It is essential to mobilize adequate financing and promote innovative financing mechanisms to support developing countries in their sustainable development efforts. Furthermore, digital transformation can play a pivotal role in accelerating our progress towards the sustainable development goals. Access to affordable and reliable internet services can bridge the digital divide, empowering individuals and communities to access vital services, information, and opportunities. We must harness the potential of digital technologies to promote inclusive education, improve healthcare delivery, and enhance agricultural productivity and other innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to continue in the same vein on SDG 11, Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Yvette Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sustainable Development Goal number 11 focuses on urban development and pays special attention to building suitable cities and communities. It is directed at making cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable by 2030. According to projections, approximately 7 billion people will live in urban areas by 2050. The question is, how can we create places that are desirable to live, which ensure economic success and at the same time preserve the planet? Living in towns or cities provides greater opportunities, and so people in general move to urban areas because of what it offers. However, urbanization has significantly impacted the quality of life in a negative ways and is responsible for the varying modern problems that face humanity today. As cities develop and the problems arise, there is significant growth in slum dwellers. Slum areas are entrenched with poverty, unsuitable housing options, and limited services, scarcity of land, and lack of proper drinking water, among other things. Food and health choices are poor, increased pollution, poor infrastructures, and unplanned urban sprawl are some results. Climate change and increased vulnerability to disaster have made situations worse. Presently, most countries in the world are urbanized, and South America is the most urbanized continent. Therefore, there is considerable work to be done towards reducing poor conditions globally among urban dwellers. Thailand has achieved great success in eradicating extreme poverty through strong political commitment, strategic planning, and monitoring. Even though COVID-19 created some setbacks, great strides were made in that country because of their commitment to succeed. Thailand focuses on human empowerment, resilience, and environmental conservation, along with the application technology and local wisdom
in addressing development challenges and promoting recovery efforts. The success of the SDGs includes a whole of society approach. Building on this approach is the way Thailand is moving, and they are confident that the SDG goals for all will be reached. To combat the ills of slum dwellers, it is very important that the whole of society approach is utilized and the interconnectedness of the SDGs showcase key examples of the role of the stakeholders, private sector, civil society, academia, youth networks, and ordinary citizens in advancing the SDGs at the national level. Promoting sustainable cities and communities with modern technology and a fair distribution system can have a far-reaching effect. How can Woolmai International Consulting Cabinet, ICC, contribute to accomplishing SDG number 11 goal? Being guided and operating in accordance with the mandate and principles of fulfilling the Act's 1915 assignment, Woolmai ICC has made the 5 Ps: peace, people, planet, prosperity, and partnership the primary focus of Kingdom ambassadors and leaders. These 5 Ps are tied into SDG goal number 11. The mission is to train, develop, empower, equip, and certify believers across the globe to become marketplace ministers of the gospel and change agents. To help accomplish SDG 11 by 2030, Woolmai ICC can play a major role in collaboration with partnering with varied stakeholders, academia, private sectors, public sectors, etc., and contribute to the following ways. 1, as a global academic organization, sustainable cities and communities could be made a part of its curricula through the university. 2, partner with stakeholders and private sectors to merge technology and digital tools with the communities and encourage young people to study in the field of urban development. 3, help to bring greater awareness about SDG number 11. 4, collaborate in research and development of programs that can be available to the needy, like creating eco-friendly products that comply with established environmental regulations. 5, assist with projects aimed to improve data collection and analysis, nutrition, food security, health and wellness program, and clean water sources. 6, leverage its credentials to offer specialized training on climate change, sustainable consumption and production of goods and services, marine life, coastal ecosystems, and forestry. In Genesis chapter 41 and 47, Joseph, under the divine guidance, gave Pharaoh, the Egyptian leader, solutions to a pending global economic crisis. The solution was that during the 7 years of prosperity, there should be strategic planning and preparation. When the famine came 7 years later, Joseph, the astute manager, used the stored resources to trade in exchange for money, livestock, servants, and real estate. The result of proper planning under divine guidance provided food security, financial freedom, employment opportunities, and relatively healthy lifestyles. Today, this biblical principle can be customized and implemented where needed to help accomplish SDG goal number 11 and its targets. Peace ambassadors from various ICC departments can be trained and equipped to play a role in implementing some programs, evaluating the progress made, and share information. In conclusion, for SDG number 11 goal to succeed, will my ICC can work together with stakeholders to build strategic partnerships with key regional institutions and other major groups. They can promote sharing knowledge, lessons learned, and best practices between states and other regions, as well as ensuring maximum synergies with existing initiatives. It will take a whole society approach so that no one is left behind. I thank you and I yield.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Ambassador Dr. Yvette Brown. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And coming to continue on the same SDG 11, His Excellency Ambassador Dr. Esther Okoye on making cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Her Excellency, you have the floor. Her Excellency, please unmute your mic.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, and greetings to all your excellencies. It's an honor to be amongst all of you today to present the review on SDG 11. I'm deeply honored. Sustainable Development 11, is one of the SDGs developed by member states of the United Nations in September 2019 to provide visionary roadmap on how to establish a world with sustainable prosperity and social inclusion, equality, and preservation of our planet, while leaving no one behind. This calls for a 2030 agenda for sustainable development with 17 sustainable goals and 169 targets. Since 2015, the United Nations, through the Economic and Social Council, has kept up with the high-level political forum on SDGs, mandating member states to have annual voluntary national reviews under the auspice of the United Nations General Assembly. This enables member states to adopt a clearer operational apprendum through country-led evaluation of SDGs. Today, I'm tasked with reviewing the SDG 11, which focus on inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable cities and communities. It focuses on affordable housing, basic services, transportation, and public spaces for all. The SDG 11 promotes sustainable urban planning, resource efficiency, and reduce environmental impact. It emphasizes resilience cities, inclusive public spaces, and sustainable transportation systems. Achieving SDG 11 requires coordinated efforts, partnerships, and sustainable practices at all levels. SDG 11 encompasses crucial thematic areas that collectively contribute to its achievement, called the 5 Ps. The 5 Ps of SDG 11 includes people, prosperity, planet, peace, and partnership contribute to achieving this sustainable goal. I will briefly touch in each one of them. People, creating inclusive cities with affordable housing, basic services, and safe public spaces for all the community dwellers. Prosperity, fostering sustainable economic development, job opportunities, and partnership amongst different levels of stakeholders. Planet, implementing sustainable urban planning, resource efficiency, pollution reduction, and environmental protection. Peace, prioritizing social cohesion, reducing violence, addressing inequalities, and ensuring justice and safety among our communities. Partnership, promoting multi-stakeholder collaboration of effective implementation and monitoring of SDG 11. These 5 Ps drive the creation of sustainable inclusion and resilient cities, improving the quality of life for urban dwellers. With the increasing impacts of climate change and the additional challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic, communities worldwide are facing a range of issues that affect their safety and well-being. These challenges include unsafe living conditions, heightened domestic violence, gun violence, congested neighborhoods, and limited access to environmental spaces. Addressing these issues aligns with the objective of SDG 11, which emphasizes the creation of inclusive, safe, and resilient cities and human settlement. To achieve the overall success of Sustainable Development Goals by 2030, the global community recognizes the need to prioritize community sustainability and enablement. SDG 11 serves as a critical framework for guiding efforts towards creating cities and settlements that are environmentally sustainable, socially inclusive, and resilient to climate-related hazards. By implementing SDG 11, communities can work together, enhancing safety, reducing violence, improving infrastructure and services, and creating accessible and green spaces. Such initiatives contribute to the overall well-being of empowerment of communities, enabling them to thrive in the face of multiple challenges and uncertainties. What are the role of World Mind ICC? In their effort to contribute to strengthening the SDG 2030 agenda, World Mind ICC has planted about 800 peace ambassadors worldwide with varying degrees of expertise to help in developing strategies to advance the goals of SDGs. His Excellency, Right Reverend Clay Finn, has worked tirelessly to ensure that the peace ambassadors receive adequate training and are well equipped to participate in all global discussions, bringing insight and knowledge to the plan of action. Like the words of Acts 9:15, which says, "But the Lord said unto him, Go thy way, for he is a chosen vessel unto me, to bear my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel." While this words of Acts 9:15 is not directly linked to SDG 11, it reflects on the concept of an individual being chosen for a purpose, to be a change agent, to work towards peace amongst our nations. How can we ensure the implementation of these SDGs? One is collaborative work. Achieving this SDG agenda requires collaboration efforts among member representatives, including governments, local authorities, civil society organizations, and the private sectors. Two, establishing bilateral relationships among members facilitates cooperation and enables the facilitation of new initiatives, fostering knowledge and sharing and resource utilization. Number three, interconnectivity of chapters. As one of our ambassador has says, World Mind has 38 departments. So those departments can work cohesively to see to the SDGs essential objectives are met. This involves recognizing and addressing the interdependencies among community development, health sector, education, technology, and the environment as a whole. This best practices enhances the effectiveness of SDG implementation by promoting collaboration, knowledge sharing, and an integrated approach to sustainable development. Thank you. I yield to you.
Thank you very much, Her Excellency, Dr. Okoye. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, for those of you who are joining us late, welcome. This high-level political forum in 2023, without prejudice to the integrated, invincible, and interlinked nature of the SDGs, we're focusing on in-depth the review of goals number 6 on clean water and sanitation, goal number 7 on affordable and clean energy, goals number 9 on industry, innovation, and infrastructure, goal number 11 on sustainable cities and communities, And lastly, we will now be hearing from Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Monica Sanchez, who will be speaking to us on goal number 17, on strengthening the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnerships for sustainable development. Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Monica Sanchez, you have the floor.
Mr. Chair, thank you. Observing all protocol already established, I bring you greetings from WOMI ICC and the Honorable Dr. Philip Finn. I am Dr. Monica Sanchez, and my statement is on partnership at this UN 2030 High-Level Forum. Since the adoption of the 17 SDG and its target, efforts have geared towards achieving SDG successes through partnership. Furthering achievable actions on SDGs, the UN summarized these 17 goals and targets in the 5 Ps to include people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnership. The SDG 17 is to strengthen the means of implementation and revitalize the global partnership for sustainable development. Progress towards achieving the SDG 17 has been mixed. On one hand, there has been some advances in accesses such as development aid, remittance flow, and access to technology. However, funding for development remains a major challenge, particularly in low-income countries and among civil societies. Yet a major
Need to unmute, Ambassador. Ambassador Sanchez, we're not hearing you. You have muted yourself.
Ambassador Sanchez, kindly, perfect. There you go.
Since the announcement of more needed commitment towards achieving SDG successes by the Decade of Action, focus has called on multi-stakeholder partnership and the SDG integration. Mr. Chair, to brave through these 17 partnerships must be designed to strengthen the means of implication and revitalizing of the global goals. It must be about the partnership of all SDGs. There must be inclusive and a healthy environment, society, and prosperous economy. This can be achieved with a collaboration among civil society, business, government, NGOs, foundation academies, and other entities. Focus at World of Life Ministry International, an international consulting cabinet, the WOMI ICC Peace Ambassador Initiative has expanded the agenda of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals across the global communities. The Governing Council of the WOMI ICC, under the leadership of His Excellency RT Honorable Dr. Philip Finn, has provided a platform for the operation and implementation of the SDG through mentorship, education, diplomatic protocols, empowerment skills, and maintaining the high standard drive for peace ambassador across the world to advance the mission of the 2030 agenda along the object of WOMI ICC initiative. The WOMI ICC, through the various departments and partnership, have evaluated internet accessibility, rising debt, burdens that threaten all countries from pandemic recovery and migration of climate change to achieve the most robust, effective collaboration across its numerous departments of operation, establishing building blocks in place to maximize its partnership agenda globally. Today, WOMI ICC have designed a new way of working together by integrating of regional operations, including the 6 regions. The right set of resources needed to strengthen partnership, solve the problem, establish equal and good working opportunities for improvement of skill, leading to higher productivity levels, which will bring higher success and forward movement towards the SDG by 2030. How can we advance implementation to achieve partnership success. First, we must be passionate, supportive, inventive, and most of all, we must work together as one body. Together, we must build an initiative to develop a measurement of progression SDG that will complement gross domestic product, support statistic capacity building in all countries and communities. We must encourage government, private, and civil society partnership, building on the experience and resources and strategies of all. Respect national leaders to implement a policy for sustainable development goals, policy space, leadership, and the eradication of poverty. Enhance political coherence for SDG with better strategies for issues such as duty-free, code-free market access in all countries, consistent with World Trade Organization decision.
Dr. Sanchez, your mic is muted. Kindly please unmute yourself.
Developing countries obtaining long-term debt stabilities, relief and debt restructuring as appropriate, and address the external debts of highly endeavored poor countries to reduce their distress. This is an urgent call for action by all countries to work together globally, hand in hand, with strategies that will improve health and education, eradicate hunger and poverty, reduce inequality, and spur economic growth, all while tracking climate change and working to preserve our ocean and forests. With the realization of a peaceful, inclusive society with justice for all and effective accountability. In conclusion, Mr. Chair, when we as a global community can collaborate and work together under partnership, the SDG would be closer to the 2030 realization. Thank you, I yield.
Thank you very much, Her Excellency, Dr. Monica Sanchez. So today we have heard from these distinguished ambassadors from the Wilmai ICC Department of Northeastern Affairs. We've heard the reviews on the 17 SDGs ranging from SDG 6, 7, 9, 11, and 17. Coming now to give us the intervention statement for this 2023 High-Level Political Forum and the Wilmai ICC agenda, we will now be hearing from His Excellency, the Right Honorable Dr. Philip Finn, the visionary for Wilmai ICC International Consulting Cabinet. His Excellency, the Right Honorable Dr. Finn, you have the floor, sir.
Yes, and I say still morning, depends on where you are at, or good afternoon to everyone. I've listened carefully to all the presenters, and first I want to congratulate you all for your research that you have done to present your findings and your papers here this morning. There's a number of areas that we touch on, and I know the UN has 17 goals, but if we all try to follow their system of trying to meet all 17, then we might not accomplish too much. Sometimes you can't spread yourself thin. And so for me, I would want that we look at maybe 4 or 5 of the most essential area that we can really assist with. We are not here to be if you want to call it Jehovah Jireh. And none of us are called to meet every need, but at the same time, we can't sit back and do nothing. You know, they have a little saying that evil prevail when good men do nothing. And so we're not here saying we want to do nothing, but at the same time, we can attempt to generalize ourselves and spread ourselves too thin that we accomplish very little. 7 years to 2030 is, well, call it 6.5 years. Time is really racing away from us. And so for me in particular, I really focus on one main area, which is the quality affordable education that I'm pushing. That's from my part. And there are others of you, I suppose, who are passionate about different areas that you want to to push. But if we could pull together to look at 4 or 5 out of the 17 critical areas that we can make a dent in, or accomplish something really significant, then that is a suggestion I want to make. Dr. Keith spoke this morning about the technology with the for example, to solve the water crisis. But I would ask if he would tell us how much each unit would cost, because I know somebody has sent me that technology, but I'm not sure what kind of cost that the latest technology that is available, where you could have this unit out in the middle of nowhere, the desert, for argument's sake, and it could generate water, right, from the atmosphere. I don't know if it's the same technology you're talking about. I'm not hearing from you. You're muted, sir.
Excellency, Dr. Keith.
Yeah, I think he's trying to speak, but I don't know what's happening to his system. Maybe if he could type the I just want to find out, the cost, and I don't know how many of us are aware of this new technology.
Okay, it
yes.
is very, I'm sorry, I had technical difficulties. I'm not on my computer, it crashed, but anyway, what's happening, I can send you a prospectus on this, and the 800 liter is ideal. The 800 unit is ideal for rural communities. And also, if we can, he manufactured these machines in Texas, and the cost is various costs, but the 800 AWG is most economical. And also, he did donate some to the situation in Flint, Michigan, as well as Puerto Rico. And if we can get philanthropists to help really impoverished community, and if a committee from Walmart can come to Texas, where I am, I can arrange for this, for us to see it being manufactured. And it's, even though he has a standard cost, Mr. Moses, he's willing
what's the standard cost?
I think for the 800 unit, I don't have that paperwork in front of me, so I don't want to give out a price and it's under the actual cost.
No, I'm just looking for an estimate. You must have an idea as to what's the estimate.
I think he said the estimated cost was around, I want to say something. Don't put me on the spot, please, sir. I don't have all of that in front of me, and I can't remember.
His Excellency, we can work on getting the details
Yes.
written up and submitted.
Yes, we'll do
All right.
that. Right, because
Okay.
I don't want it to be on this forum that I said one thing and then we go to him and then we have to hold, he feels obligated to do that. I don't have all that paperwork because I wasn't anticipating I would be asked this question.
Well, you have to anticipate, you know, when you make statements, you have to anticipate being called upon to verify, you know,
Okay.
your findings or your statements. But
Okay.
anyhow, this is an area also that I'm very interested in because you know, it really is a game changer in the sense that usually I think somebody referred to, I think it was you who referred to you know, drilling wells and all the different kind of thing, and that is
Yes.
so costly and time consuming. With this
And
new
also,
technology, yeah, with this new
and
technology, yeah, you were saying something? Yeah, with this new technology, you know, you bypass all of that. I don't know if Dr. Bannister is aware of it, but you bypass all the drilling of well, I mean, not all, all you do is set up the machine, and it creates water from the atmosphere. Very, 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 you know, important, right? And so that is something that we could look into, and we could move faster to get clean drinking water, which is very, very basic. You know, we have a saying that water is life. To some of these rural communities that are desperately, in need. Right? But I'm hoping that we can get the cost on that. Right? Yes. So with that said, I just want to comment a little bit now on the initiative that we have. A number of you made reference to what our university, can do or is doing. We have struck a partnership with the oldest and the largest vocational technical accreditation body in the UK called City and Guild Institute of London. We have particularly zeroed in on the 9200 series, and talking about no one left behind, this particular program that City and Guild has, it really left no one behind. They have given us about 500 different areas we can choose from. So if somebody is a basket weaver, a grave digger, a lawn mower, a baker, a cook, not a crook, but you know, any profession you can think of, construction workers, steel workers, and we have them all over the world, all over the third world. And most of these people are not, if you want to call it, certified. They did not, because of poverty, did not get the opportunity to go to college or a technical institution. They can do the work, and they're doing the work, they're underpaid. They're abused many times because they don't have if you want to call it, the certificates or the diploma or the paperwork, right? Now we're able to solve that problem because City and Guild is now accepted in 120 countries. So whereas it doesn't cover the whole world, again, we're saying that let us not try to save the whole world. Jesus has already done that. But let us do whatever we can do and do it with excellence, so that it can spread and spread and spread, and eventually, you know, it will have great, or massive effect, right? So that is something that I want you to be aware of. So if you know of anybody who's a carpenter or any profession, or working in a restaurant, or can cook very well, or can sew very well, but they never get a chance to go to a college, never get a chance to get a certificate or whatever, you know, our Psych International University Technical Center of Excellence in partnership with City and Guild Institute of London have a solution for those people. So when the scripture talk about when God says, I will restore to you the years in which cankerworm, the palmer worm, the caterpillar, uh, and the locusts have eaten, definitely for all these persons who are 18 years and above who didn't get an opportunity to have a college education, you know, with the technology we have and with the system that we are in partnership with this institution, that is a thing of the past. We are able to now to solve that problem, and we can restore years of what people have lost because of, well, lack of opportunity, you know, mainly because of poverty. You know, we know there are a number of people who drop out of school because, especially sometimes ladies get pregnant and have to drop out of school and all different kind of stuff. So I want you all to bear that in mind, and I'm pretty sure that several of you know the kind of folks that we're talking about, that all they need to be able to lift the standard of living is to get that piece of paper. And we're able to do that from the associate, bachelor, up to the master's level. All right. So this is what I want to share. And again, I want to thank you all for your presentation and training for reigning. Also, finally, in closing, we have just recently brought on stream, not even in the system fully yet, but I've just developed that program where, again, with City and Guild Institute of London Institute, I'm offering a master's degree in diplomacy, because I recognize that even as, you know, we are doing what is called the, I don't like to even use the word mock or model, we have to prepare ourselves to do the real thing, put it that way, you know, not just to say, but okay, we have a side meeting or side issue kind of a situation. I'm talking about getting ourselves really prepared to advise government, to speak um, um, to kings and to government leaders, to address critical issues. And so for those of you who have the passion, I mean, for it and all of that, I'd want to advise you to, you know, get the information and get this level of training. It won't be long. I myself have committed myself to do at least to walk through the text and give like 10 different lectures on it. And then all you have to do as we go through each chapter, you write your review, and that is it. There's no real exam or anything to that effect. And then, you know, you will be assessed based on other qualification you have, because everything that you have accomplished beyond high school will be uploaded to the City and Guild for assessment. You're going to get two different set of documents. One, you'll get the level 7, which is the equivalent master's degree from City and Guild in leadership and management. And then you will get from us, from our university, what is called the CSLM, right? So it's Certified Strategic Leader and Manager in the field of diplomacy. All right, Dr. Bannister, Mr. Chairman, I know people calling you the chair now, so or Mr. Chair, so I yield back to you, sir.
Thank you very much, His Excellency Right Honorable Dr. Philip Finn, visionary for Woolmai ICC. Coming to speak to us now would be the governor for the Northeastern Affairs Department of the Woolmai ICC, who is Her Excellency Professor Ada Juni Ukika.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You promoted me again, Chief Governor. I'm not the governor. Thank you.
You mean he demoted you?
Oh, he demoted me, yes.
Yes. You are the chief gov. What's wrong with you, young man?
Please,
Please, thank you.
please forgive
again.
me.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Well,
You
we
do
can only
wonderful.
forgive if you repent.
Yes,
And I hope you repent in the name of Jeremiah.
we want to acknowledge the ambassadors, the peace ambassador, able peace ambassador who are able to spend their time to have reviews of the SDGs in place in discussion on this 2023 high-level political forum. It was indeed an in-depth research they were able to do, and most importantly, which is what countries do, is to have the SDG reviewed in line with the workings in their countries. So what the significant part of their presentation was they're able to review that in line with the mission and objective of Walmart ICC. So I appreciate you for that singular act. So I also want to use this opportunity to thank our visionary, His Excellency, the Right Honorable Dr. Finn, for being able to create the Department of Northeastern Affairs and give us the opportunity to act or learn the practicals on diplomatic protocols and learning how to review documents and statements as done at United Nations. Most interestingly, the minutes, I think they were able to notice, make their presentation within 8 minutes. I was glad that the Mr. Chair did not stop anyone along the road. So that's very commendable. And I want to address that the Department of Northeastern Affairs is still passionate about to have the ambassadors acclimatize themselves on this diplomatic protocol, especially with respect to making statements, doing research, and able to address the particular issue of concern along the United Nations terms. We are taking these presentations to another level because for the past 3 years, we have reviewed some SDGs in question each year of the high-level political forum. And with this, by the time all the SDGs are reviewed, the department will be able to have a documented publication of all these ambassadors' presentations into a journal for the ICC library. So I take this opportunity to encourage us in what we are doing and see how best we can be able to meet up with the standards or diplomatic protocol standards. I know we have been able to be educated, but then we need to put it in practice as ambassadors of, as UN ambassadors and representatives of their various portfolios. So I thank you all. I thank Your Excellency for giving us the opportunity to come to this level. I also acknowledge the chair of this section for his wonderful act that he did. And we want to continue to address these SDGs accordingly in line with the global mission of Walmart ICC across the world. I thank you all for your participation.
Thank you very much, Professor Ukika. Just a few reminder announcements before I give my closing remarks. The high-level political forum runs up until the 20th of July. So please remember on the 19th to join the C4 SDG. Ms. CARICOM will be having their event, as well as Magban Arts will be having their event. Please remember to subscribe or join via the UN's web TV. So you can go to media.untv.com. Also, please remember, or this is an announcement for some of them, the Wulmai Diplomatic Academy will be having their Gender Fate Executive course based on the CSW 67 session agreed upon. So that'll be held from July 21st. So please remember to subscribe to that as well. It's very informative. So distinguished delegates, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, joining us from whichever part of the world you are joining us. The challenges we face are daunting, but we must remember that our collective will and determination have the power to overcome them. As we recover from the COVID-19 crisis, let us rebuild our societies with resilience, compassion, and sustainability at the core. Let us use this moment to usher in a decade of transformative action where we accelerate progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals and leave no one behind. Remember, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. So in conclusion, I call upon all nations and stakeholders and ambassadors and local citizens to redouble our efforts to implement the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. Let us use this high-level political forum as a platform to inspire and mobilize action to forge new partnerships and to accelerate the recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. Together, we can create a world that is more just, inclusive, and sustainable for present and future generation. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished delegates, Wilmai ICC headquarters and Northeastern Affairs Department, good evening, good morning, good day. Thank you very much for joining us. This meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Who can take this photograph for us?
I did. I got the photograph already.
Oh, thank you. Thank you
All right,
so
I'll
much.
post it
Have a
shortly.
great weekend, everyone. Goodbye.
Blessings.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Bye.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, everyone.
Blessings. Bye.
Good afternoon, Dr.
Wonderful
Finn. Good
present.
afternoon, Dr.
Good afternoon.
Bannister.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Finn.
Thank you,
Doc-
thank you, thank you, and good afternoon.
Blessings
God
on
bless
you.
all.
Wonderful
Bye, everybody.
presentation. Wonderful.